The prosecutor paused the courtroom video on a single chilling frame. My mother, Evelyn Mercer, was reaching toward a strip of silver tape on the ballroom floor. Just a few feet away stood my younger sister Vanessa, dressed in a white wedding gown and gripping a confetti cannon aimed directly at my face. The jurors hadn't yet heard the whispered conversation that happened seconds before she pulled the trigger, but I already knew every word. Those whispers would eventually expose years of deception. To understand how everything unraveled, I have to return to a rainy afternoon in April when I believed I was attending my sister's wedding, never imagining it would end inside a criminal courtroom. I was 37 years old, carrying an old injury that had weakened my left eye since childhood. Most people never noticed because I quietly managed it with medicated eye drops whenever irritation flared. Before the ceremony, I slipped into a quiet hallway, used the drops, and returned to my longtime friend Naomi, who waited near the dance floor with a reassuring smile. Our mother spent the morning greeting relatives, proudly announcing that both of her daughters had finally put the past behind them. She loved repeating that phrase whenever she wanted everyone else to ignore years of favoritism and emotional cruelty. After dinner, the photographer gathered the family for formal portraits. Mother gently guided me onto a narrow strip of silver tape marking the floor. "Stand here," she whispered. "The lighting works better for your weak side." At the time, I thought she was being unusually thoughtful. Behind the head table, I noticed her speaking with a venue employee while holding a large confetti cannon wrapped in decorative tape. The employee looked uncertain, but Mother confidently insisted the item had already been approved. The staff member reluctantly stepped away. She handed the cannon to Vanessa. My sister accepted it casually, then looked directly into my eyes. "You still carrying those eye drops?" she asked with an almost playful smile. I nodded without thinking. Only minutes later, while everyone prepared for another photograph, Vanessa called my name. I turned instinctively. She raised the cannon. Instead of aiming overhead like everyone else, she pointed it directly at my face from only a few feet away. The explosion felt like shattered glass striking my eye. Pain ripped through my head as metallic confetti blasted into my vision. The room erupted in laughter before anyone realized I had collapsed, clutching my bleeding eye. I dropped to one knee, pressing my palm over my injured eye, while the ballroom blurred into flashing lights and muffled voices. Tears mixed with blood as every heartbeat sent another wave of pain through my head. Instead of helping me, Vanessa grabbed my wrist and leaned close enough that only I could hear her. "Stop making a scene," she hissed. "You're ruining my wedding." I shoved her away with my free hand. "Don't touch me," I gasped. Before anyone else reached us, our mother hurried over. For one hopeful second, I believed she had come to check whether I was all right. Instead, she turned toward the elderly videographer, Martin Doyle, and barked an order. "Keep filming. She's pretending again." The word stunned me almost as much as the injury. My friend Naomi knelt beside me, demanding someone call an ambulance. The instant she shouted that something had struck my eye, the laughter around the ballroom vanished. Guests who had been smiling moments earlier suddenly looked horrified. While everyone focused on me, Mother quietly snatched the confetti cannon from Vanessa's hands and disappeared through a service hallway. I wouldn't discover until days later that Martin had watched her hide it beneath folded linens on a housekeeping cart. At the hospital, the ophthalmologist examined my eye for nearly an hour. His expression grew more serious with every test. "You have a corneal abrasion, internal bleeding, and signs of retinal trauma," he explained carefully. "Your vision may recover, but I can't promise it." Then he paused. "You mentioned an injury to this same eye when you were a child. Do you remember how it happened?" I repeated the story I'd heard my entire life, that I had hurt myself during a childish tantrum. The doctor quietly asked one question. "Do you actually believe that?" For the first time, I realized I didn't. The next morning, Vanessa uploaded an edited wedding video online. It showed only the moment I pushed her away after the blast, making me appear like an unstable, jealous sister who attacked the bride. Within hours, strangers flooded social media with insults. That afternoon, my father, Richard Mercer, called repeatedly. "Please," he begged, "tell everyone it was just an accident." I refused. Instead, I hired attorney Claire Donovan, who immediately instructed me to preserve every message, photograph, and medical record. 3 days later, Martin called. "I reviewed my raw footage," he said quietly. "The wedding video left out everything that mattered." Martin arrived at Claire Donovan's office carrying 2 sealed evidence bags. One contained the confetti cannon that Evelyn had hidden after the attack. The other held the untouched memory card from his camera. Beside him stood the venue manager, Graham Ellis, who confirmed the cannon had never belonged to the venue. When we watched the unedited footage, silence filled the room. The recording showed Evelyn removing the real cannon from a black duffel bag long before the photographs began. She leaned toward Vanessa and quietly asked, "Which eye?" Before Vanessa answered, Evelyn replied herself, "The left one, the same one." Moments later, she deliberately positioned me on the silver tape, ensuring I stood exactly where Vanessa expected. After the blast, the footage captured Evelyn hiding the cannon beneath laundry carts, while guests rushed to help me. Detective Daniel Brooks opened a formal investigation. Instead of rushing to arrest anyone, he interviewed every witness separately, collected my medical records, and secured the physical evidence. His patience uncovered far more than anyone expected. Financial records revealed Evelyn had purchased the cannon with a company credit card belonging to the family's childcare business only 2 days after I requested copies of my childhood medical records. That discovery exposed an older secret. A retired employee named Margaret Hale produced a copy of the original incident report from 28 years earlier. Unlike the official version, it stated that Vanessa, not I, had accidentally fired a launcher into my eye when I was 9 years old. Someone had later rewritten the report to blame me instead. Faced with overwhelming evidence, Vanessa finally confessed. She admitted their mother had planned everything, promising her a large share of the proceeds from the planned sale of the childcare business if she followed instructions. Hidden voice recordings, preserved text messages, and my father's handwritten confession confirmed decades of lies, evidence tampering, and the deliberate attack at the wedding. The jury convicted Evelyn of conspiracy, obstruction of justice, and evidence tampering. Vanessa pleaded guilty to felony assault and cooperated with prosecutors, while my father accepted responsibility for helping conceal the childhood incident. Years later, my vision stabilised, leaving only a small permanent blind spot. I rebuilt my life, returned to work, and found peace by helping others facing vision loss. I learned that truth does not erase pain, but it ends manipulation. Evidence speaks louder than fear, and silence never protects the innocent. It only protects those determined to hide the truth.